I'm done keeping up the pretense. You know I spent too long pretending I was strong, acting unbothered and hoping that you'd play along. Inside and out, twist it and shout. This is the heat we write songs about. Desire lounge. No.
As you call that radio, good afternoon, everyone. Today we are speaking with East Coast singer-songwriter LouMcLean, where we're going to be discussing her new music video, Desire Lines, which we'll be playing a little bit. The upcoming album, produced by Carla Easton. And we're going to talk a wee bit about Taylor Swift, because I know that Taylor Swift's the biggest pop star in the universe, probably. And I'm ashamed to say I don't really know much about her, really. And I've been aware of some controversy bubbling away online as well. So I'm just curious to know about the lore of Taylor as well. And we've got a self-confessed Swiftie in the house who's also an amazing singer-songwriter. It's LouMcLean. How you doing?
Hiya, I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. And I'm just having a coffee. I'm in a nice quiet place. So I'm happy. Busy summer. What about yourself? Have you been? Well, you've been busy with the album. You've been documenting your album really well, also.
Thank you. Cheers. I managed to record my debut album just at the start of the summer, and then I've sort of been spending the rest of that time making loads of different artwork and stuff to go with it, and just plotting and planning some exciting things for next year when the album actually comes out. And yeah, I'm dead excited. Very busy, but excited. And I'm kind of actually relieved that it's getting a bit to the shorter days time of the year, so that I can have a bit of a rest before it all kicks off again. But yeah, I've been loving it.
Have you got a date in mind for the album launch?
I'm hoping for February. That's when I would like to have it out. I've got a couple more singles to come that I want to release before it comes out. And then, I'm going to be doing quite a different sort of launch thing. I've not really announced it yet, but it really fits well with the theme of the album. So, yeah, I'm excited for it.
And it's well done for the patience to actually finish an album and then just be sitting on it. I've always struggled with that.
It's horrible.
What I need to do is I need to put a deadline. Like I think for our album this year, we just announced the launch party, and then that basically told, it was Hamish that was working on the album. It basically just gave us, right, we have to December to finish this album, and I think we ended up finishing at the end of January. We cut it very fine. So how do you do that? How do you be patient and not just release things?
Well, for me, I initially wanted to have it out in October because I'd finished the recording and everything, all the mixing, mastering, and that was done by July. I didn't have artwork or that ready, but I was like, right, I'm going to just get all this out for October. But I think because of the way that streaming and everything works now, and the way that artists actually are under so much pressure to be constantly putting stuff out all the time, I just had a big think with myself, and I was like, what is the point in rushing it? Why not just drip it out over time and not drive yourself crazy trying to meet this imaginary deadline? that was how I set it up. But in my heart, it was because I'm going to be doing this little sort of workshop tour thing in February. I was like, I kind of need to have it all sorted by then, because there's no point in going and talking about the album and not having an album to sell. So that was my big motivation, really. But yeah, you could sit on it forever. This is the other thing, Mark. I'm just going off on a tangent, but do you not feel like you could just keep working on songs and working on them and working on them? You have to have a point that you're like, no, that's it, finished. Do you know what I mean? You could pick it apart for months.
Yeah, I think it was Adam Holmes and Mog that I was talking to once, and I think they were quoting some famous writer. So correct me if you've heard it before, but there's no such song. Songs are never finished; they're only abandoned, and that's because you can end up just making a song worse by just putting more, spending more time on it. I've done that before.
Yeah, me too.
It's just not, well, that's actually really good. It just needs a couple of little bits fixed and then you just ruin it. So yeah, it's about finding the right balance. But I think as an artist, you should just follow your instinct, and if it feels ready, it feels ready. And you're working with the amazing Carl Easton. Is that for the full album as well?
Yeah, that was for the full thing. So I basically wrote most of the songs. Well, I started and finished versions of like 7 of the songs when I was at uni, like doing my masters. And then I wrote the other 3 kind of after I'd finished and thought that they sort of fitted in with what I'd made. So everything was written and sort of finished. And then I brought Carla in the sort of recording phase, and she just really helped me actually shape the sounds and sort of think about, I don't know, because I've done a few co-writes, but I tend to write on my own and just kind of do my own thing. So it was really good to have somebody in who sort of understood what my references were and then brought me like new things to listen to and kind of new ideas to kind of put into the album. So yeah, it was really like a good collaboration to have.
Yeah, amazing. Carla's brilliant, and
Yeah.
obviously loads of experience. It's crazy. It's 20 years since her first band as well, which is wild.
It goes too
Yeah,
fast, doesn't it?
aye, definitely. I mean, I don't even know what we because we did our 10-year anniversary right before lockdown, just before we knew lockdown was happening. I think it was December before that. So in my head, I still think that we've been about for 10 years, but it's probably near 17 now or something as well.
Yeah.
Well, 25, 20. Yeah. We were going for the first gig though, because I think the first year or two, I didn't count that. So we were celebrating 10 years from our first gig because we were like a MySpace band. You're probably maybe too young for
Yeah. No, don't let me fool you. I was well aware of MySpace.
Yeah, it was way about it. It feels like a simpler time, and it's obviously everybody moved to the other social media platforms because that's where the people were. But then they just changed the rules, and now it's very difficult to reach your audience. You can have 7,000 fans, and it's even a popular post will only go to 1% of them, so they want you to pay money. And yeah, it's how are you? How have you been finding the promotional aspect? Because your new music video, which looks amazing, by the way, that's a couple of days old. So how are you finding what it's like to promote as a DIY artist in the current climate?
I think with the socials, it feels the way that I've sort of come around to it is I made the video with my friend Alex, who's like a really good filmmaker, and is looking actually to do more collaborations with musicians. Just putting that out there. But yeah, I think working with her, having a laugh while I was making the things, and then like really because I had this extra time that I wasn't under pressure, I sort of have been making ideas for posts and sort of thinking about it as part of the creative process, if you like. Like I make a lot of collages and stuff for my artwork anyway, like that's part of what I do. So then I just started thinking about the socials side of it and that sort of hello.
Sorry, this is having WhatsApp on your computer.
I know it's a nightmare.
I've closed the page now, so hopefully it doesn't do that again. Sorry, Danny. Danny's watches the show. Danny should be but we didn't give people much notice. Sorry for that interruption. Please continue.
No, you're fine. I just thinking about it as part of the fun, like making the art. Like I'm thinking about my posts about like as if they're like something creative to do. That's been all right. I think doing the whole chart and the process of making the album, like doing a week by week, that's been really fun as well because I'm sort of finding a way. Basically, it was just find a way that doesn't make me fucking depressed, basically. I'm like having to feed the algorithm. Like you're under so much pressure. And like you're just saying, like, if I put a post out, I've got like, over 1,000 followers on my Instagram and it'll maybe... at a really, really good post, like 400 people will see it. And that's like you know, that's massive. Whereas,
And that's probably, and I think it's what I always find weird is the analytics. It always seems to be 50% is, well, for us anyway, it's been 50% non-followers,
exactly,
which I suppose is a good thing for some occasions because obviously you're wanting to reach new people. But for me, like especially probably for yourself as well, when you try to promote your new single, you would like to reach your established fan base first, at least, and let everyone know that you've got a single. There's people that don't even know we've got a new album out, and I've been really ramping up the promo because I found out that I really found that it's been working quite well is sharing things from posting from Facebook to Instagram.
Right, yeah.
Because then basically you're getting the likes of both Facebook and Instagram, and the views all count as one thing, which has been brilliant because you feel twice as popular. but it's just the same people, really. But the bad thing is, it's still been working this week, so it's been really good for you call that radio as well. You know, we'll maybe put a wee clip of a live session or something, and then it goes onto the Instagram. But for some reason, it's not worked this week, and I don't know why. I've been trapped in a bureaucratic nightmare of going back and forth. So that's been a bit rubbish. But what about the vlogging thing? So you've been doing because obviously I don't know, is that part of the project? Was that to document what it is you're doing and stuff?
Yeah, I think like it started off like when obviously like I went and done my masters, and it's part of the kind of wanky like student thing that you end up being obsessed with is like I learned a lot about like my own process of writing and how interesting I find everybody's songwriting process, because you know I do like songwriting teaching and stuff as well, so I find it really interesting to find out about other people's creative processes. Like I could sit and talk about like how do you come up with songs, how do you finish your songs, like I love all of that. So I was kind of thinking like if I love talking about that, I bet you there's other people that like to hear about it and talk about it. So I'm just trying to it's partly because I think it's interesting to see how actually albums are made. Because as well, so many people, like when I found out, because I got Creative Scotland funding, so many people were like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Like, so will it be out soon? Do you know? And they like have this idea that you write the album and then the next week you go in and you record it, and then the week after it's like your vinyl's ready to go. And I don't think people, even talking to people about how you record stuff, like a lot of people, this is obviously non-musicians, but a lot of folk were like, oh yeah, so you and the band will just sit there and record it and then that's ready to go, sort of thing. Like they don't even know about like, anyway, so I just thought it was interesting for people to actually see what it takes to fully try it, like make an album, how long it takes and how many people are actually involved in it as well. I just thought it was really interesting. So that was part of it. But then looking back on it, it's also really funny because I can look back at weeks where I was like, oh, like that was a hard week, or like that was an amazing memory, or yeah, it's quite cool to look back on. I've not done it for about a month now, so I need to catch up on that today.
Well, you were on a roll. You were on a roll. It was good while it lasted. And but yeah, it's cool. It's good. I'm always interested as well. I mean, practically that's what we've been doing the show for the last 5 years or 6 years or whatever. It's just asking. You know, I'm really interested in the creative process and how people do it. And it just seems to be nobody really. What's cool about it is nobody ever gives you really a straight answer. It seems like some sort of magic or otherly thing that happens to people when they're writing a song. So tell us about your process. How did you do it? How's it went? Well, for this, let's just focus. In fact, do you know what we'll do? We'll play a little clip of Desire Lines, if that's okay, while you gather your thoughts, and just for people that maybe aren't aware. So introduce this song, and then we'll come back and we're going to talk about the writing process and Taylor Swift and things like that.
Cool. All right. So this is my new single, Desire Lines. It's from my album, which will be coming out in February. And the song is sort of about going back into dating, and the video is sort of based on dating app tropes from modern times, but I wanted to set it in the 90s because I felt that was quite aesthetic-y and it fit the song. So this is it.
I want to get to know ya, not just in the physical sense. Take time to show ya I'm done keeping up the pretense. You know I spent too long pretending I was strong, acting unbothered and hoping that you'd play along. Inside and out, twist it and shout. This is the heat we write songs about. Desire lines, no games. I wanna make moves. Desire lines, take time, get into the grooves. Every step that I take brings me closer to my fate. I don't care, I'm feeling fine, 'cause it takes time to fall. Desire line. I wanna get to know ya, and it's deeper than I thought. Take time to show ya the vulnerability I fought. I know it's been too long pretending I was strong, acting unbothered and hoping that you play along. Inside and out, twist it and shout. This is the heat we write songs about. Desire lines, no games. I wanna make moves. Desire lines, take time, get into the grooves. Every step that I take brings me closer to my fate. I don't care, I'm feeling fine, 'cause it takes time to fall. Desire lines. It's been a while since I felt this way. Ready and open and prepared to stay. If I knew God, I'd get down and pray that I could walk the line and put your hand in mine. Ooh, desire lines, no games. I wanna make moves. Desire lines, take time, get into the groove. Every step that I take brings me closer to my fate. I don't care, I'm feeling fine, 'cause it takes time to form. Desire lines, no games. I wanna make moves. Desire lines, take time, get into the grooves. Every step that I take brings me closer to my fate. I'm not scared, I'm feeling fine, 'cause it takes time to fall. Desire lines.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, Desire Lines.
That's it, aye.
Amazing. And the video, so sorry, Alex is looking for people. What's Alex's name again?
Yeah, Alex.
If anyone's wanting to build, to make a music video, who should
She's
they get?
on Instagram as @thatwoman. So I've tagged her in all my stuff. So if you go on my Instagram, you'll find her. But yeah, she's amazing. She does. I think her film company is called Carnal Productions, so you can find her there. But yeah, she's a really great artist and filmmaker, and quite often she doesn't really often do music videos, but she's wanting to start doing it a bit more. So that's cool. Yeah.
Amazing. And the single, how do you pick? Because this is the first single, am I right? The lead single.
Yeah, aye. This is the first single, so that's a great question. It was kind of hard to decide because you'll understand when you hear the album. Like each song is quite different from the last. Like they're all very much thematically linked, but I quite like to, when I'm writing, like I quite like to follow what the song wants to do. And because I listen to quite a variety of music, they sort of, like there's a pop ballad that's kind of Taylor Swifty on it. There's like a sort of R&B slow jam on it, but most of them are sort of in this sort of indie rock, sort of a bit nostalgic sounding sort of era. But I chose Desire Lines, I think, because it's the lightest song on the album, and it's probably the one that links them together sonically, I would say, the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was why. Also, I just like it. It's a banger.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So it was the last time I think I spoke to you, because obviously I've only ever seen you perform as a solo artist, and you told me that you've got a band now and I need to see the band, and I've still sadly not made that happen yet. Is the are you going to be performing this album with the band, or were they involved in the recording process, or have you just moved on to something else, or what's the story there?
Yeah, just moved on from the band sort of before the album got recorded. So I've used like session folk to record. And the last time I performed, I used backing tracks of the recorded album, and then I've got a couple of acoustic gigs booked for over the winter. But I'd like to do it with a full band. I just don't have a band at the moment. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do next, but I'm excited for it anyway. And it's exciting to get back to my acoustic stuff as well, because I do enjoy that kind of audience connection.
And so can you talk about the workshop tour thing? That sounds interesting. Can you explain that a bit more? Where are you going and what's happening?
So this is unannounced. I accidentally said that.
Exclusive.
I don't mind sharing. You've got to get an exclusive. Another exclusive for you. Yeah, I've basically decided the theme of the album sort of comes from the work that I did for my master's, which was looking at basically women's working songs from the 1800s, right? That's where we started, and then that's where we've ended up, Desire Lines. But it was inspired by like working class people, and like women in particular that I'm interested in used to write songs all the time. Like that's what they did while they were working. They would just make up songs and sing together and have like choirs. So basically the theme of the workshops is I'm going to travel all about Scotland and do workshops and try and just get people who don't usually write songs to write. That's what I want to do. So yeah, I'm looking forward.
Have you got venues in mind, or?
Yeah, I've reached out to a few people. I know that I'm definitely going to be going back to my hometown of Kirkcudbright, which is going to be rad. So we're doing one there, doing one up in Inverness, and in Glasgow and Edinburgh. But I'm looking forward to. I think I want to extend the tour. I mean, I'll see if people are actually into it. I hope they will be. I'm sure they will be. So if more people want to come, then I'm happy to go to different places. If anybody's watching, invite me. I'll come and write songs with you.
It's great. The one of the first workshops I ever did was at the Stove. It was an amazing woman, Cindy Go, R.I.P. She was fantastic, and she got us to. It was me and Bram Texture. We went to Dumfries, and then we just. It was amazing. It was people of all ages and stuff,
Yeah.
and people that maybe just like quite fancied being a poet. Maybe they've been writing lyrics in the house themselves, but then we basically just sort of worked with them a wee bit during the day, and then they played a gig, and all their friends and family came out that night. It was amazing. It was such because it was like I think everybody was on stage for the first ever time.
Well, that's it.
It was so
Like
cool.
honestly, I love that though, and like I do. Whenever I do a songwriting workshop or have like a wee songwriting meeting, I just love hearing what people want to write about, like what's important to them, and it's just so rewarding, like when you finish the 2 hours and somebody who's maybe never been brave enough to share something, they'll like read out lyrics that they've written, or somebody will actually perform the song that they've made or a different song that they've made. I just love it so much. So it was a way to sort of bring the whole thing together, is to go and do these workshops and try and get everybody into songwriting, because as well, right, I'll just go off on another tangent, and this will be relevant when we come to Taylor, but like the whole industry of music and songwriting like has just been taken over by capitalism, right? And like the way that everybody used to have access to writing songs and didn't have any fear about singing in front of people or writing a daft wee song with their pals, whereas nowadays we're sort of taught to believe that it's just only a few select people that can do it and that we need to pay for it. Like, you know what I mean? I just think it's shite. So I want to kind of bring songwriting back to the people. And yeah.
I suppose it actually goes back to that video killed the radio star.
Yeah.
And then you've got social media now as well. So it's like in the past you would write your wee song, but it's like now the pressure's on to not only write the song, but make it visually pleasing, and you're up against people with budgets and fancy cameras and makeup artists or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's and what tell you what's good about this. We'll just go to Taylor next, but just on that, because obviously you're doing the workshops. I don't know if you've seen this. You probably have noticed this pattern as well. Like that, why is it that somebody who's writing their first ever poem or their first ever song, they've always got one absolute banger of a sentence? Well, how did you come up with that one? That is.
I know.
It's like something about I don't know, just they're going with the flow, and they've just like created almost a perfect phrase.
I know. I don't know what that is, and that's why honestly I could sit and I read about this and think about this all the time, and I'm like, is it just that idea or that all of that energy and knowledge has just been sitting there, and then you've like allowed them to just turn on the tap, and then the amazing phrase just comes out because it's always been sitting in there? That's what I think about sometimes. I'm like, I think that's why I like doing these classes, actually, is because when you get wee moments like that, and then you can actually say to the person, like, I wish I'd wrote that, like, that's incredible. And then they're like so buzzing about it, and you can just encourage them on their way to write more stuff. But yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it? There was somebody actually, and she's an amazing songwriter as well, LouMcLeanMusic, but she came to a workshop of mine last year that was sort of based on this women's work stuff. And she came up with a line, hands too soft to play working songs, right? And I was just like, fuck you, Elsie. Like, I've been working on this idea for like a year, and that's like the most incredible lyric that like anyone could come up with. I was so jealous, but proud of her. And like, she ended up finishing that song, and yeah, it's just nice. I like hanging out with songwriters and musicians, as you'll know. It's very rewarding, isn't it?
Absolutely. And so let's get to the Taylor Swift then. So before we go, because obviously there's been some mixed reviews about the new album, but let's go back to start. So like, because I remember you commented on a thing. Well, I don't know if you commented, I commented on your thing, or you commented on a thing. It's like, because the idea that there's guys, usually obviously guys, it's always going to be guys, isn't it? Being edgy by not knowing Taylor Swift, and I was just like, no, I genuinely don't. I'm not that familiar. Look, I've not heard a Justin Bieber song in my entire life, as far as I'm aware.
But maybe not, eh?
Well, I don't know. Now you've got to remember that. You know what? I grew up with MTV and all that, and you couldn't get away from when the biggest pop stars in the world were involved. You know, I used to take that and Backstreet Boys, probably jealousy because all the lassies fancied them. I don't know, but it wasn't for me. I just didn't like it. It didn't connect to me. It wasn't aimed at me. I wasn't a target audience, so I never really. But you couldn't get away. You couldn't get away from Britney Spears or anything like that. These things were just everywhere you looked, everywhere you went. But now, obviously, probably from iPod onwards or MP3s onwards, everyone's kind of went in their own wee niche bubbles. Radios in general is terrible. So, you know, if I try and avoid that, I don't watch any of the music channels. If there is, I don't even know if MTV's been a reality TV show, even if it still exists for this. So I think it's quite easy to ignore it, but obviously Taylor Swift is the biggest pop star in the universe. I'm aware of that. So I must have walked into a supermarket. I must know a couple of the songs. I must know. So I did do a wee bit of research today to listen to the new Taylor Swift. But let's go back first, before we get the new stuff. Tell me, as a Swiftie, how do you get into Taylor Swift's music? What does it mean to you? And yeah, so we can compare it with the new stuff. Tell us the lore of Taylor. What is Taylor to you?
It's interesting, right? Because I wouldn't say like I'm actually a massive Swiftie. So I started liking Taylor Swift probably about, I would say it'd probably be about 8 years ago, or maybe 8 or 9 years ago. My girlfriend at the time had the 1989 album on vinyl and just like played it all the time. And I really loved that. It's really like glossy, synthy pop kind of records. And I love pop music anyway. Like, I will hold my hands up and say that. I love it. I've always
And also, I just want to clarify as well that all the pop music that I thought was rubbish when I was a kid, now when it comes on the radio, it's a welcome break to some of the horrific pop music that exists now. I sound like an old person, but
I know.
that is true. I'm like, you just hear this really weird auto-tune pish, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, what's that? That's a banger, and it's fucking Gary Barlow or something.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I know.
so yeah, I admit, and I do like pop. I think also a good song's a good song. So I'm not a pop snob at all. That's why I want to learn. I want to learn about Taylor.
Yeah. So I think like so I got into her there. So I think that's her maybe her 5th album, possibly. See, this is it. I don't know all the stats. But from that point I got into her. She released an album during lockdown called Folklore, which is like with the guy from The National, I think, and that Jack Antonoff, and it's like a sort of folk pop album, and that was a game changer for me. I was like, this is actually incredible writing, incredible production, and a really well thought out.
And you can't hide behind folk music. You can't. There's no.
Yeah.
It's either a good song or it's not. There's no hiding.
Exactly. And then, yeah, it's funny because the last like 3 albums that she's brought out, so this one, Tortured Poets, and one called Midnights as well. I hated Midnights when it first came out. I really didn't rate it at all. And then after about a week, I was like, this is a banging. I love it. Tortured Poets is quite iffy, and then this one I don't like. But I think what's important, I think what I like about her is she's quite deep into like crafting not just a story in the song, but she has like all of this lore and all of these little Easter eggs within her songs that are like, you can really like, it's like a world that she's created for her fans, where you can literally like, there'll be references in songs or in music videos that are from like 5 albums back that she's sort of put in. So it keeps you engaged in it. And yeah, also like she does just write really catchy pop music, which I love. So there's that. And I think as well, although the songs are sort of pop all the way through, she does experiment a little bit with genre, which is what I aspire to do as an artist as well. It's like you don't want to, for me anyway, it's like because I listen to so many different types of music, I don't just want to make something that's sort of country inspired. I don't want to just make a disco album. I don't want to just make a punk album or like a Riot Girl inspired album. Like I want to try and mix it all together. And I think she does that pretty well. But yeah, I'm feeling it's been hard to justify this one, I'm not gonna lie.
So why is it? Because I think everybody I know is these are Taylor Swift fans. No, it doesn't seem to be liking it. What was wrong with it? I listened to a bit earlier on, but once again, I've got nothing really to compare it with.
Yeah, I would say
But it's not for me. It's not. I listened to was the one that's got an amazing video. It's just, I think it's a recent single. It's got a fantastic video, but it's
The
not for me.
Fate of Ophelia, I think it
Yes.
is.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not. I'm just not going to. I'm never going to really like that. I don't think. Maybe I need to listen to it more, but it's just no. It's not for me. I don't know. I like my pop music to have a bit of, I don't know, emotion behind it, a bit of feeling, or be completely daft and camp and stupid.
Yeah.
And it feels like it doesn't really feel to ticks either of those boxes. It's kind of somewhere in the mundane middle, but that's just, I've heard it once. Please don't attack me, Swifties, or any Swifties listening.
I know.
This is just my honest opinion.
We're scared of the Swifties. No, I think for me, the reason why it didn't hit is because lyrically it's really quite garbage. And I mean, for me, music has lyrics and melody. Like that's where I like to sit anyway. I mean, I've got my basic chords that I'll put together, but even on my album, like I've gone in with the structure of the song, the lyrics, the chords, the melody, and everybody's kind of built on top of that. And that has been a really fun process, and that's how I like writing. Like that's just how I do it. But anyway, With this, the lyrics are just quite shite, actually, and a lot of it is very cringe, and a lot of people are kind of coming out and saying that. But I think what's happened, I've been reflecting on it, even since I made that video, I'm like thinking about it more deeply, because I made a little rant video. And I think actually it's because she feels very out of touch now with what is actually happening in the world. I think people are very politically aware, politically engaged, particularly with what's happening in America at the moment, like the rise of fascism, dare I say it. Like, we're watching that happen, and then it's like it feels a little bit tone deaf for an artist to come out with this album. And although, which is shallow, as it's shallow as fuck, and it's not. It's shallow.
Look, just for people that don't know, so from my understanding, there's like songs. She's girl boss too close to the sun.
Yeah, a girl boss too close to the sun.
And that was obviously that, and I think that was stolen from a comedian, who was a student when she made that comment 7 years ago or something. Yeah. And then obviously there's a song called Wood, which I listened to that today as well, which is basically, it's just kind of like talking about her well-endowed boyfriend for the full song.
Yeah, it's her boyfriend.
I think the right way to put it, but yeah.
Big PP. The whole theme of the album is that she's really happy. Well, there's a couple of themes that she's really happy. Great, love that for you, Taylor. It must be nice to be a billionaire in this economy. Second of all, that she's getting married and couldn't be happier to be in a kind of heteronormative relationship. And the third one is that she doesn't really care if she who she hangs out with. She all of her friends are cancelled is one of the songs that she's got, and it's like talking about how she loves hanging out with people that are cancelled. But that's in this economy as well. It's kind of shit when you know that she hangs about with people who support Donald Trump and MAGA.
So to me, now I'm interested in this bit because I seen somebody posting today something about MAGA, Taylor's MAGA or something, and I had not heard this before, because if the way I remember it was, did she not get like 30,000 people to register to vote for the Democrats against Trump?
Yeah.
So what is going on here? Am I missing? Did something happen in between then, or I don't know what I missed.
You're missing out a step, but yeah, you're right to be like whiplash, because I think that's what all of her fans are like.
Because I thought that was because the MAGA crowd, as far as I'm aware, seem to hate her. Like they've got an unnatural hatred of her. So that's why I'm confused.
So right, in 2020, Taylor brought out a documentary called Miss Americana, and the documentary was all about her coming out against Republicans and kind of coming out for LGBT, like allyship. There's rumors that Taylor Swift's secretly gay, but we'll not get into the gay lore, because that could be a whole podcast.
I think every celebrity gets famous enough that they have these stories.
But there's great Reddit threads on that if anyone's interested. But yeah, she came out as a Democrat, as someone who wanted equal rights, someone who was passionate about women's rights, and basically says, I want to be on the right side of history. So everyone has this idea of her, even, themes in her albums, particularly in like folklore. She talks about equality in Midnights. Actually, I wanted to bring this up, that it's relevant, don't worry. But in one of the songs in Midnight, she says, one of the lyrics is, all they keep asking me is if I'm going to be your bride. The only kind of girl they see is a one night or a wife. And all this 1950s shit they want from me, I don't want it. So basically it's like talking about the pressure to kind of conform and marry as a woman. But then it's like she goes this full 180 into one of the lyrics in the new album is, I was lying when I said I didn't want to get married, and then writes a song about how great her boyfriend's cock is and how he's like saved her from this terrible cat lady life. When like a year and a half ago, she was proud of her cat lady status. So it's all a bit suspicious. Anyway, she started hanging out when she started going out with her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, who's like a famous football player. One of the guys that's on his team is called Patrick Mahomes, and he's like proper like far right MAGA. And she hangs out with his wife Brittany, and they hang out together a lot and go to all these different kind of MAGA events. So
MAGA events. Can we define MAGA event? Is it like UFC? Are we talking UFC MAGA, or are we talking Trump's fascist speeches MAGA?
Right. So she was at, it's like a country music event that was pretty much fully attended by MAGA people. And then what else was the other one? It was like she was photographed with these podcasters, like male podcasters that are quite like far right and sort of misogynist in the themes that they talk about. So it's like she's not wearing a red hat, okay? Like, let's put it this way, but the internet is talking and has caught her like hanging out with these people that she used to.
Which podcasters do we know?
I can't remember what they're called, but I could look it up for you. But yeah, it feels really strange to see this sort of flip.
Yeah, it's strange because it's because the thing is that she has. The thing is, like, pop stars don't need to be political, of course not. I would prefer they were. But she has been political.
Right.
And the problem is that once you start talking about politics in your music or even in your online, you can't really just sort of put your fingers in your ears and just pretend everything's all right. And obviously everything's fine for her. She is a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And she's probably hanging about with people who are like, Kamala Harris is a communist, which is not right. It's the same people that think Keir Starmer's doing a bad job because he's too far left, and unfortunately,
he's too far left. So far left, he's gone back to the right again.
Unfortunately, people do believe that stuff because it's just it was only in power for a month, and the media started running with that so they could get reform in, because it's like, well, we've tried the left thing, and it's like, no, we've certainly not tried the left thing. Not in my lifetime. I've never seen it.
Exactly. 100%. Like, I agree with you there. But you're right. Like, the point is that I've actually been reckoning with this a little bit myself. I went to a thing with my friend the other night, and I was like, I've sort of realised that I'm holding the Taylor Swifts and Sabrina Carpenters of the world up to this really high standard and being really critical of them as women. And I need to do like a little bit more of exploring about that myself and why that is. But like, the point is that she is the one who has kind of put herself in this political space to say, I want to fight for what's right. So you can't really back out of that and not expect some criticism. And also, she's entitled to do and say and make whatever she wants. But yeah, we're also allowed to criticise that and kind of pick holes in it a little bit if we want to.
That is so. Is it? Do you think it's a Sabrina Carpenter effect? Because obviously I know who Sabrina is. She had a big year, and it's sort of the raunchy lyrics side of things. Do you think Taylor is trying to maybe stay relevant and keep up with her peers by maybe singing about that stuff, and maybe she wants to maybe, and obviously talk about, but then obviously she's she seems very happy with her husband, so she's wanting to talk about her sex life with her husband rather than the Sabrina way. So let's put that way.
Right. So my first impression of listening to that song, Wood, which is the Notorious Penis song, was that the Penis song, that It honestly feels like a Sabrina Carpenter song. It sounds like a Sabrina Carpenter song. It's got that same sort of intonation that she even does in her kind of vocal delivery, that same sort of like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, kind of innuendo in the lyrics. And also even the same sort of, I don't know, like musical, I mean, it's not the same era, but it feels quite similar to the way that she makes her music. And Sabrina Carpenter duets with Taylor on the last track of the album as well. So it does feel very influenced by, I think, the new kind of generation of pop girls. There's also, I mean, I really like Chapel Rowan, and she uses this, you know, she talks about sex a lot in her songs, but to me it feels authentic. I think as well because she's a lesbian, like she's a queer artist. It's really quite different. It's quite unusual to hear those kind of sexy songs, I guess you could call them. And I like that, like, and it brings this kind of new, yeah, like a sort of new way of exploring that kind of genre, I suppose, of pop. And yeah, I think maybe Taylor does feel some pressure to go with the crowd a little bit, whereas before she maybe hasn't. But I don't really understand why that would be.
But
Like,
with Chaperone, obviously another one that I'm aware of as well. So I've got my finger on the pulse today of the pop stars. But yes, that song was everywhere. This is the Pink Pony Club.
yeah, Pink Pony Club.
Pink Pony Club. Look at me. Yeah, I know that. That song was everywhere. I couldn't get away from that one. I don't know. That's everywhere. But to me, maybe I'm wrong, but to me it felt like it was. Gay bar friendly music, which was kind of like, you know, dancing the tables, be proud, and
Yeah,
that's what it is.
it's
I've always found the pop music. I mean, obviously, you're an artist, you can say what you like. I mean, I'm not for censorship or anything like that, but I've always found it a little bit weird. Music that's targeted at kids with so much innuendo, but this is not a new thing. This has been happening since music began, really. Since people realised that they could target music at young people.
yeah, I find it
Would
really
you expect?
well.
So just to finish that point. So I suppose that the surprise is that you would expect Taylor to come out with maybe not a political album, maybe more a maturer album, or rather than going down this road. So yeah.
I don't know. And then it also, you know, it makes me feel silly even saying it out loud because it's like, who the hell am I? I'm sure she'll be gutted to know that I'm not following what she's doing with her artistic process. And who are we to say like what you should be writing an album about? I think she can do what she wants, right? And I mean, did I expect her to come out with a political album? No, I didn't. But I feel that when you're in such a position of power as an artist and when you have such influence, like you brought up the point earlier when she posted on her Instagram for people to register to vote, it was 65,000 people that signed up, like within a day of her posting that on Instagram. So she has a massive influence over young people, over her fans. And I just
What was the
feel
phrase you
that,
used? Tradwife coded was a good phrase you used.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's another thing. This is where I start to get my tinfoil hat on, right? So I think there's been such a trend recently in pop stars diving more into that sexualized lyricism and themes, but also into this really sort of traditional, like it's like sort of like infantilizing men's behavior, right? So Sabrina Carpenter does this a lot. She did it with Man Child, and it's sort of like these messages and these lyrics are about accepting the bare minimum from a man or feeling lucky that you've got a man in your
Sorry,
life.
I've heard the song. I've heard of the song "Man Child."
Yeah.
I just assumed that was a diss on an ex or something. So it's not. It's about accepting the bare minimum. Could you give me an example of that? Because I've not heard the song. I seen it about.
When I'm talking about Man Child, it's basically just saying that, well, she says like, oh, I like my men incompetent.
She didn't say that, does she? She doesn't
What,
say that. No, she
I think
didn't.
she's got,
Is that the vibe? She doesn't actually say, I like my men incompetent.
yeah, and I like my men all incompetent. That's what
What?
she said. Yeah.
Wow.
And in
Okay.
her new song, I think I can't remember what it's called, but basically she's like talking about getting wet, and she's like, "Oh, I get wet when he does the dishes and like tidies up and stuff like that." And I'm just like, "Girl, what the fuck are you even talking about?" Like, it feels crazy to me because I'm sitting here like having just done this massive project about like women's labor and like women's equality. So I'm obviously looking at it through this lens of kind of understanding a bit more about that. But I also think Taylor coming out with this kind of, it sort of promotes marriage, right? It promotes this sort of heteronormative lifestyle. There's other examples of it as well, like Ray's just brought out a new song called Where Is My Husband? There's Lola Young, when she brought out One Thing, it's like very hypersexualized video as well.
Yeah, I
And
remember that was quite a bizarre move, I thought, because
I
obviously
thought it was a real shift, wasn't it?
Messi was the biggest song of the year last year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that going from quite sort of humble beginnings and just instantly going, "Oh, that's going to be a hit if there's any justice." And it was a hit, so it just seemed really weird to just suddenly just do that. I found that quite surprising. Once again, do what you want as well, but just like, whoa, that's quite mad. Before I read it, Tiffany, I think we've got a Swiftie would like to retort. Tiffany, I'm going to read your comment in a second. Just before I forget, the Sabrina Carpenter man's best friend thing.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen the cover obviously, but was that not just was that a publicity stunt, or has there been more?
Well, there's so many different. I mean, I was even at a women's like network thing the other week where we spoke about that for an hour. Like, everyone loves talking about all this stuff and trying to pick it apart, but from my point of view, I think whether it's intentional or not, the image did bring up depictions of domestic abuse, right? Whether she meant it that way or not, whether she's into BDSM, whatever, it did. And I think there was a lot of women's groups who kind of used that as a jumping off point to talk about kind of real issues that are happening in our society.
That's a good thing
Which
then.
is a good thing, yeah.
So,
I think
was that maybe deliberate, or was it just to be? It was that cover just got everybody talking about it.
Yeah, it did, and it was funny because again, like for part of the research for like making my album, I was looking at all these old images of like adverts from like the 1950s and 1960s that were really misogynistic and really quite shocking to see now. And those were so similar to the same image that she had used for her album. So it was obvious where she got the inspiration from, and she's quite open about, looking to the 1950s for a kind
Sabrina
of.
has got that. She has got that. I seen somebody's commenting saying that she looks like the woman in the cartoons that the wolf would whistle at.
Yeah, totally.
It's almost like the cat, like I don't know.
Yeah, or like a bored housewife from like a 1950s film, or a fembot. Sometimes I think she looks like a fembot, from Austin Powers. But anyway, right. So those are. But anyway, when I'm talking about being trad wife, COVID, that's because I've got a cold and I'm like, oh fuck, have I got COVID? But I don't think I do. Anyway, when I'm talking about that, it's fine for women to be empowered and do whatever they want and put whatever image they want out. But you've got to remember that a lot of people are very easily influenced, and we can't deny the context that art lives in, which is there's a femicide, there's an emergency of violence against women in the UK. I don't know if anybody knows that, but that was announced by the government. Like, since the pandemic, like the rates of violence against women have gone up to higher than they've been for like since the 70s, I think. And also, we've got what's happening in America where they're like literally going full Nazi over there and trying to, get rid of birth control for women now. They're trying to classify like the pill is the same as abortions, so women aren't allowed to have access to it, and I think that's why I get annoyed about it. I get ticked off about it because I'm just like, girls, come on now. Were you even talking about this? Nah. But I feel you've got a responsibility as an artist to kind of talk about these things, or at
I think
least
so. I would
mention it.
I would probably say that Sabrina's got less of a responsibility because from my lens, because I've not seen it, because she's not tried to be political. I mean, it's more like
That's true, yeah.
I mean, but if you think about where Madonna fits into all of this, because obviously Madonna was really good at pulling these levers and starting these conversations, and back in the day she did some stuff that upset both sides, like upset the conservative the family values, but also I think upset the feminist movement as well. She was really good at just upsetting everybody and then selling millions of records in the process.
Totally. It's so interesting because one of my pals is really is loving the new Taylor album, and we've had some really good robust challenging chats about it, and she brought up Madonna, and she was like, they said the same thing about Madonna, that she's selling out her other women and selling herself on her body and whatever. And it's so funny because I don't view it like that at all. Like, I look back on her stuff and see her expressing her kind of sexuality, if you like, her femininity in this way as really empowering. It feels authentic. But then am I just looking back on it as someone who wasn't there experiencing it at the time? It's an interesting one. I've actually got I'm going to read it on the train today. Like, I've got an academic paper that's all about that. About Madonna and is Madonna anti-feminist?
Yeah, well, it's hard to gauge that because we were younger, and obviously Madonna's now, the controversy is long gone. Everyone accepts that Madonna is one of the greatest pop stars of all time. So, but at the time it was more risky because she wasn't totally established. Because I think obviously she had hits in the she had hits, but there's a big difference between being a pop star with hits and then becoming like one of the greatest songwriters or pop singers of all time. So
I think.
But if we look at it back, so we'll look at it differently. Well, I mean, will Sabrina Carpenter even last the pace? I don't know. I think Chappell Roan will definitely. It will probably stay in that. Will always be popular, and I think Taylor Swift has lasted so long that Taylor Swift's here forever, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's going to quit and become a housewife.
Sorry?
I think she's going to quit and become a housewife.
A Fradwick, she's going to just become a housewife. Well, I mean, she's got the billions, she's got the private jets. And it is, people do lose touch with reality. It's very.
I think that's a massive part of it.
How do she's just hanging about with millionaires and billionaires. And what is it that there's a good phrase, you are the component of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That's interesting.
So if you're hanging about with 5 billionaires that also lean to the right, she won't turn totally right wing, but they're having different conversations. The Overton window, so she's just talking to them, and and also hold on, Tiffany. Sorry, Tiffany's been commenting, and Tiffany agrees with you about Sabrina Carpenter. She looks like a fembot, 100%. But and we don't need a whole album of Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. I don't know what that. Sorry, I don't know what that means.
It's a love song that she wrote for one of her exes on Lover album, which gets a lot of hate, but I actually really like Lover. It's very pop. So
Tiffany does disagree with you on. So if you're American, you know someone who's MAGA. You can't just cut these people out of your life. That's an unfair thing to say. And she is terrified she's going to be the target of a terror attack or shooting. I don't blame her for being quiet about it. The president himself has targeted her. She is vulnerable. So she's like that, Jim. She's just scared.
I think we could say that, but then the president is now singing her praises since this album's came out, which I also thought was really interesting.
That is very interesting.
Has said that he really likes Taylor, and she's Got good songs.
So
But I
Donald
think,
Trump likes Taylor Swift now. Yeah, that's weird.
yeah. So it's kind of weird that it's sort of shifted like that. But then it's like, is it because now she's sort of playing by their rules? Like she is shutting up and not saying anything. And also it's like, well, maybe she is scared, but I mean, everybody's scared.
Yeah.
Like I'm a bit scared of what's happening across there. Like it's
Everybody,
getting a bit
well,
wild.
it should be. It's coming soon to the UK if Farage gets his
Exactly.
way. It's the same people that are funding. They funded the Trump and are funding the same thing to happen in the UK. So we should be scared and we should be very aware.
Exactly.
And
That's what I
the
was
best
saying
we can
that to
hope.
my pal. I was like, we've got about 18 months, I reckon. So you better get your house in order.
Yeah.
Start chatting about
Yeah,
it right now.
The Green Party's doing not bad. It's been good to see their leaders actually made some really good points. Seems a little bit less scared than anything else that's been on, and then your party, fucking hell, please get your shit together, guys, because that is an embarrassing start. I did a gig with Corbyn last month, and it felt and it just felt so. He seemed sound enough, and I was like, this could be good. And then everyone signed up, and then there's a fallout straight away, and you're just like, oh, here we go again. The left eating itself as always.
It is. It's the same, isn't it? It's like they've done a very good job in sort of trying to separate people on the left and try and. One thing that I really hate is, even though I see why people do it, is like a lot of the times it's like there's too much accusing people of stuff. It's like witch trials in a weird way where people are pointing at, it's like, that's racist, like that's homophobic, that's this or that. It's like you need to actually have conversations with people to explain to them why they've done something that isn't quite right.
I'm from a small town originally, and there's the people, my friends and stuff. They can't keep up to date with university language all the time,
exactly.
And it doesn't mean that there's a hateful bone in their body. It's just words change, and sometimes they just change a bit too fast for people to keep up with. But yeah, there's a difference between there's ignorance as an excuse, I'm afraid, for people that don't live online, perpetually online, and they've never been to university, and they may just live in a place that isn't up to date, sort of thing. But there's no excuse for hate, and I think sometimes everything gets a bit mixed up sometimes. Yeah.
I agree.
And then basically what everyone should be getting together, and everybody's in danger from the rise of fascism. And it's all just so billionaires don't have to pay some taxes, and they're just divided. And it's just blatantly obvious, but
how come, like, this is the thing that I don't understand, like how are people still falling for the same old story of like, oh, the immigrants are coming, or now like the new version of that, which is like trans people are coming to like attack you. It's like, that's not what's happening at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy that people still fall for this condition. That's what I wanted to say as well, sorry, about my trad wife patter, is that we know that pop music is really influential, as is marketing. So is it that these like large record companies are investing in artists who are pushing that message? Is it to condition us to go into this more like Republican or conservative way of life, like into marriage, into thinking about having babies, instead of like, say, I don't know, listening to an album that's about like not doing that, Is it just another way to control us and make us like be really good worker bees and keep like breeding workers for these capitalists that want to destroy everything?
And meanwhile, the hip hop community is there's been loads of conspiracy theories, some proven, some not, about sort of the alternative thing, and that's advertising violence and drug dealing to the young, usually black urban communities in America, and almost like selling the dream that selling drugs you can make money off it.
Yeah, to glamorize it.
Violent, and all it does is causes absolute misery and gets people killed or in jail and basically enslaved in some sort of way. So, yeah, I think there is There is. I mean, nobody. You're not going to get on. You're not going to get on Radio 1 with an alternative message. I can't believe there's one exception to the rule. Was Kneecap somehow? I've known Kneecap since way before lockdown and stuff. When they had Get Your Brits Out and stuff, and nearly booked them for a gig in Glasgow. And when they started getting BBC Radio, I think Radio 1 or 6, or maybe at least 6 Music, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Because I remember growing up in the 90s when it was like, even Irish, certain people, if they weren't on the British side, they were blurred out and their voice was pitched down so that they seemed evil.
Yeah, totally.
So they kind of, they sneaked through the cracks somehow and now are absolutely smashing it all around the world.
I know, it's wild to see that, isn't it? I mean, even, like you say, like even the accent would have got them absolutely nowhere. Like,
yeah. And Bob Vylan, then they were too busy worried about Glastonbury. They forgot to censor Bob Vylan. And now he's doing really well off the back of that as well. But in general, I can actually name two. I can't think of anybody else. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there anybody else with a really political message that's got through? To a lesser extent, Sleaford Mods, but I feel like that's more. I feel like Sleaford Mods were more about, and they've had a really bad fallout with because of the whole Palestine flag incident. They didn't really serve them really well. They didn't really want to get involved in all of that. So I think the argument is that Sleaford Mods is more about living in a council estate. It's more about that. And maybe not as political, but that's it.
But class is political, and like this is the
absolutely
thing as well. People aren't even really thinking about that, about how.
And it's Taylor Swift. That's a good point. Has Taylor Swift discussed Palestine? Has she said anything? No,
and that pisses people off as well.
That should piss people off.
Even if you're not, even if you're like a Swiftie that doesn't really know much about the world, even they're getting annoyed now about it because it's like there's no denying what's happening. And
it's genocide happening.
Yeah,
it doesn't even be a song, but just a tweet, just a statement or something, because that's huge. Oh well, we can't. You got played in Radio Scotland. Let's talk about that. That's an hour we've done, and we'll sort of wrap up. Let's get the plugs in. I don't think we can save the world today, but we're working on it.
We'll try next time.
Yeah. So you have been Girls Rock School. I had a note to say because they do great work. So you work with Girls Rock School. I had Radio Scotland, Girls Rock School. Do you want to talk a little bit about that stuff and then tell us how people can support you and how they can follow you on social media and stuff?
Cool. So I've been doing some work with Girls Rock School. I've actually just left the committee of GRS, but still a friend to them. But I'm starting up my own little songwriting workshops and I think I'm going to try and do a songwriting circle in Edinburgh that's for women, like trans, non-binary people. And we're just going to meet up and write songs once a month and hopefully like do an open mic and stuff like that. Just like a little sister organisation. What else? Yeah, been working with them for a long time. But yeah, I love that. I just love helping out the girlies and helping them be more confident in music. I was on BBC Radio Scotland with Len Penny on the Arts Mix, which was crazy. Like, it's just really cool going on the radio. It feels like one of those tangible things, like, when you're a wee kid and like you're growing up and you're like, oh, I want to be like, I used to want to be in the Skinny. That was like a big thing for me when I was a teenager.
We've still never been in the Skinny. Never once. Not. I've had 4 albums, which 3 or 4 albums with Gyro Babies, 3 or 4 albums with Jackal Trades, countless singles.
That's
Ramfest, nothing I've ever done. No event, no nothing has ever been in the Skinny once. It's
rad.
Weird.
That is rad.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's not. I don't think it's. You just got to not take it personally. Sometimes you do, but we don't. None of our singles have got on the radio this time either, and I don't. There's just a lot of people trying to get a lot of things because I'm now having my tiny little platform here, like people take it personally if I don't invite them on the show, and it's like, I don't know. For me, it's just like I see somebody promoting a thing, and I'm like, oh, they probably want to talk about. I seen your video was coming out, and then I seen you talking to us Swift. I went, right, okay, so I messaged you, and it's just that's kind of how I do it. It's just about the right time, right place. Sometimes people ask me to go on the show, and I'm just like, do you know what? I've got time, and sometimes I'm booked up for a couple of weeks, so I don't take it personally because people take it personally with me.
I know.
But yeah, the skinny. You got in the skinny. Not only that, but you got an amazing review in the skinny.
I did. It was years ago now. It was like my EP, my second EP, the Good Morning Easter Road one. But see, at the time, right, I never had a clue about any of this stuff, Mark. Like, I just like was like, oh, I've just written these songs and like got in the skinny. That's cool. And like didn't realize that that's like really hard to do. But I've never been in since. But
it's not easy. It's not easy. Speaking of Leith, we're playing. We're a bit. It is an exclusive. We're going to announce later on today. But the 14th of November at Leith Arches. What's that like? Have you been to Leith Arches yet? I've never been.
It's literally like behind my house. So I hear it quite often. Do you know what? I've not actually been in for a gig yet, but I've been in for. They quite often do like. Oh, that's a lie. I played there.
Yeah.
My friend like Suki, you know Suki Goodfellow.
Yeah, of course. Suki made an amazing picture of me, like a pure psychedelic picture of me.
Aye.
I had this my profile picture for ages. She's amazing, very talented.
She's class. She put on a fringe show. Well, she puts on gigs under Queer as Punk quite a lot. They're really good. If anyone's ever in Edinburgh, you need to check out Queer as Punk, or just go and look on their Instagram. But she had me in hosting in Leith Arches. It was just a wee acoustic one, but she had like a wee variety show. And they do all kinds of events in there, but it is really cool. So 14th of November, I'll write that down.
Yeah. So we're just coming back from our Irish tour as well. So
nice one.
So it should be good. Hopefully I've still got my voice. But, China Shop Bull playing as well, and it's going to be good. So nice. I'm not supposed to announce that yet, but it's all right. It's just because it's getting announced later on today. And we didn't promote this show, so everybody's going to see this in the future anyway. Yeah. So what gigs are coming up, and where's the best platform to follow you? I'll put your link tree. It's Linktree LouMcLeanMusic, or just LouMcLean, or
I think it's LouMcLeanMusic.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why I still do that. I should just do it LouMcLean. Anyway, so the next gig I'm playing is I've got one on the 1st of November, which is the same day as my songwriting workshop, which I've not announced yet. But if you're in Edinburgh, come to either of those. There is an unannounced gig in December. These are both just the acoustic-y gigs, but that's what I'm doing next. And you can find me at LouMcLeanMusic. Instagram's probably the best place. I post there quite a lot now because I'm doing the album stuff. But also, if you follow me on YouTube or TikTok, I'm going to be doing more rants and like more because I really enjoyed doing my Taylor Swift rant. And I'm going to be doing more stuff like that. So if you want to follow me on there, you'll probably get more of a chat.
The links in the comments, and people might actually be watching this on your YouTube channel, because if you want, I can now add you as a collaborator after the show's finished. So this is quite good. I've not done it. I think I've done it with 2 people last night, but I've not seen it work. But potentially this should be really good because it means it can jump on your channel and our channel. So,
I think that's brilliant actually, because sometimes you do these things and then you can't really share them properly, and it's all that visibility nonsense.
Yeah, and also like for you did an acoustic set for us before at the. So like I can add you as a collaborator to that as well. So then, because the problem is that because when you put it on 2 different channels, you're just halving the view count. So this is perfect because it means people, when they scroll down, they're going to see it. So well done, YouTube. They've actually a social media platform that's actually made a change that's just not made things more difficult.
I don't know why they keep
all the changes are always just a nightmare, but this is actually good. Well done.
Agreed. And do you know what? I want to say this as well, just before I go. when I was talking about, like, I'm giving Taylor and Sabrina a hard time, but we're not really sitting and talking about like Elon Musk and like Sam Altman and all of these insane tech bro guys who are making the social media hard to use for us artists, taking all our money as well from Spotify streaming, and then also just try to destroy the world with AI and data centers and stuff. It's like I should maybe be reserving my ire for them rather
Yeah,
than.
well, Elon Musk is obviously, if it wasn't for Elon Musk and maybe a couple of certain podcasters, Trump would not have got elected. And
Yeah,
now, these same people are, I noticed that Joe Rogan was the other day. He doesn't talk about Trump anymore because
yeah,
I don't know if he's in denial or because I don't think. Well, my impression is that he's not a particularly maliciously bad person. It's just that he's maybe not the brightest and he's been hoodwinked. I would guess. I'm just I don't know, but
I
I
think
noticed
maybe
that
they like the money as well. Like,
they like the money,
I
they
think
follow the
everybody
money,
likes-
getting invited to the presidential thing. It being close to the whites, the power. They like that thing.
It's
So
mad, isn't it? I would hate that. I'd just
and
be like,
then I noticed that he's talking about the ID cards, which I'm totally the digital ID, which I'm opposed to. But they're always talking about immigration in the UK. They started talking about immigration in the UK and digital IDs in the UK, and just generally, I've noticed that they're starting to, because obviously America's on fire, so they don't really want to talk about that because it was kind of their fault.
yeah,
And Elon Musk is doing the same as well, just
Yeah.
talking about the UK. It's going to be mega, make England great again, and all that shit. So we got that to look forward to. So yeah, hopefully people don't fall for it. Hopefully, all you can hope. Well, no, it's not good for America, but hopefully, if Trump continues to do ridiculously insane things, then hopefully people are going to go. Because people right now say Farage, we need somebody like Trump in here. People on the right say that. So if Trump really messes up, then hopefully that opens the door for an alliance between your Green Party, your party, and just there must be a couple of good politicians in the other parties. I'm not sure who.
I know we're running out of them at this point. But no, I agree, and I think I just hope that people are a little bit more sensible, right? You just have to do a little tiny bit of reading to know how bad it would be if Nigel Farage got in. Even just on the NHS, which is something people are so passionate about in this country, like in the rest of the UK. Nigel Farage wants to privatise the NHS. He's not made a secret of that. You will have to pay to go to the doctors if he gets in. Even that fact alone should make people realise that he's a bad guy.
Well, he doesn't even have a policy that I know of. I mean, apart from the fact that he likes to say racist stuff, and people they take that as, he calls it how he sees it.
I hate that. I hate that.
I know, of course, it's a really horrible thing because surely everybody's calling it as they see it, really. Mm-hmm. But it just became a thing for racist people to say, I like the racist, but it's they can't name one thing. What is he actually going to do about immigration? He's not. I don't know if he's actually got a policy on it as such. But
no, he just rattles on about it.
Same with Brexit. It was he got everyone to vote Brexit because he was getting paid a lot of money. He made a lot of money out of Brexit, and that didn't work. Apparently, immigration's went up. I had Becky Fury on the show last week. She's a political analyst, and she said that immigration has went up because basically Brexit's made it more difficult to deal with immigration. So this guy that gave us the shit show that is Brexit, the idea that he's now the favourite to be Prime Minister it's just annoying. And AI technology is getting really good now.
I know.
And people don't do their own. They say that they're doing their own research. What they mean is they've watched a thing that somebody said. Nobody's fact checking anything anymore, and we're going to have really good copies of things. So people just need to be vigilant.
Even people using ChatGPT for research and stuff, and it's it's shown. I think the latest study that came out about it was almost 50% of the time it's inaccurate, the data that comes up on ChatGPT, and people just accept it as if it's magic. Oh, it's like, oh, it's a magic robot. It's come up with it for me. Like, use your fucking brains, people.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they're in their head. Like, and I saw something, can't remember which one of them it was, but it was one of these AI guys, and they were saying the biggest competition that they have as a company is your imagination. So let that sink in. It's not like, oh, Google are worried about Microsoft. It's like they want you to not use your imagination. They want you to sit in front of your phone and laugh at AI generated videos of cats getting arrested by ICE, which is one which I saw this morning. So,
and a really good speaker. I'll put a link in the comments once I find it, because I shared it on Instagram recently. But an amazing woman was talking about Spotify and how they don't want you to think about music, so like the playlist thing. So that's exactly the same. It's like so they get no longer. And obviously here I've got my own wee Spotify playlist as well to try and promote new bands and stuff. And I've got a chill pill playlist that I add everything that I think is quite nice when I'm just wanting to relax. But yeah, the idea is that it's just going to be, you never have to think of a band, and there's the fun in that. You want
exactly. They keep inventing all this stuff that we don't want. Like, I don't want someone to write music for me. I made a TikTok about that as well, about this one of these guys that invented one of these music creating AIs, and he's like, oh, the problem is, like, most musicians don't enjoy making music. I was like, mate, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's the magic. That's the magic bit.
That's the best bit. The process is the best bit.
And then you get, as everything else is because you've made the music. So like, you make a good song and you're like, actually quite less, I might record this, and then you record it, you go, oh, well, I might as well perform it live, and then like, you get in a vicious cycle, and you're in a hamster wheel after that point. And obviously there's fun parts about playing live and everything else, but in order to play the gig to people, you need to then promote the gig, and it's a lot of work. But yeah, the magic is the songwriting, 100%.
Yeah.
So the magic of the songwriting, the album is out in February or March, and Desire Lines is out now on all platforms. Any final words?
Yeah, go and listen to Desire Lines, and yeah, if you see any of my stuff, just give it a wee like and a share, and same with Mark's stuff, because that actually helps quite a lot.
Or even if you can't think in it, I've got two things. I just say, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I really want to give someone a nice bit of feedback, or like, oh, this reminds me of, or blah, blah, blah. But life's busy. You might not have time to construct a sentence. Don't ask ChatGPT. Just a fire emoji's fine. Or I just say the word class. I just write the word class.
Oh, that's a good
so
one.
I've got my template. It's like, if I like something, I'm going to write class or fire emoji. So just come up with a word.
Heart eyes emoji. That's what I do.
Yeah, there you go. You go with heart eyes emoji. So all you need is pick an emoji, pick a word and stick to it. And anytime you see a DIY artist doing something, then do comment. It does help with sharing it to more people. Yeah. So amazing. Thank you very much, Lou. And good luck with the album. I look forward to hearing the rest of it.
All right. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.